I was married to my brother when I was just 9 years old. I grew up in an extremely religious family. My parents were so strict that they didn't even let me watch Disney movies. They said it was a waste of time and we could go straight to hell for watching such things. Yeah, my dad really meant it too. He would beat us if he found us with any comic books or anything like that. But he would also beat us if we told our mom we wanted to eat something or drink something. He would say, "God will punish you." I can still remember how he used to force feed me fish and how my mother watched and did nothing while I puked all over their feet. My older brother, though, was always out of the house, so he never got punished. While I can't read or write very well, my brother is smarter than me, but he couldn't read either because my dad made him stop going to school after the 6th grade. He said, "School is a waste of time. The only thing you have to learn are the scriptures." He then taught my brother how to hunt and fish and stuff. He wanted him to be prepared for the end times. It was during one of these hunts that my brother caught a weird-looking fish. It had scales and fins like a normal fish, but it also had arms and legs. When my dad saw this, he got super excited and he took this fish with him into his study. We heard him scream, "Miracles do happen," and then he came running out, holding this fish in his hands. He told us, "This is a sign from God." He said this fish was sent to us because we weren't strong enough in our faith yet. He said it was a punishment from God. I was scared. I thought God created this fish just to scare me. The next day, my dad called all of us kids into the living room. He told us he had a very important announcement to make. He said he had spoken to God and received guidance. He said it was God's will that my brother would marry me. He said it was the only way to protect our family from evil. But he also said it would be a great honor for my brother. I was so confused. I asked him why I had to marry my brother, and he said, "You need to understand that this is God's will." My brother didn't say anything, but Mom started screaming. She said, "Are you insane? That's disgusting." Then she slapped my dad across the face. Then she screamed at me, "Who's with me?" And both my sister and my brother raised their hands. Mom then hugged me and told me I didn't have to do this. But then Dad screamed, "You're not allowed to talk to her. You're all going against God's will." And he kicked them all out of the house. That night, my brother came back. I heard him talking to Dad. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I think they were arguing about me. I was hiding under my blanket, listening to them, and suddenly I heard my brother yell, "Shut up." And then he kicked down the door and came inside. I screamed, but he put his hand over my mouth and dragged me outside. He brought me into the car and drove us deep into the forest. He stopped at some point and carried me on his back into this abandoned cabin. He laid me down on this dirty mattress and I burst into tears. He asked, "What's wrong?" And I responded, "You're supposed to marry me." He looked at me for a second and then said, "We'll see tomorrow." He then slept in a corner and I slept in the middle of this filthy mattress. In the morning, I woke up and found my brother sitting next to me. He asked, "Do you want to get married?" He asked me with a serious face, and I think he was actually scared. He must have realized what a monster my dad is. He then said, "Let's go home." But when we arrived, my dad wasn't happy. He asked, "Why aren't you two married yet?" And he pushed me toward my brother. He helped me stand up, and then he tied a rope around my waist and attached it to the bed frame. I think he was trying to keep me there. But my dad came in and ripped the rope off. He then shoved me into my brother's chest and screamed, "Do it now." My brother started crying, but Dad pushed him away and locked us in the room together. At first, my brother tried to fight back, but then he gave up. Dad unlocked the door and shouted, "Get married." My brother and I walked into the living room where Mom and the other kids were waiting. Dad handed my brother a ring and told him to put it on my finger. But then my sister stood up and screamed, "Stop this wedding." She punched my dad across the face and he fell to the ground. She then grabbed the ring and threw it onto the floor. My brother instantly He asked, what did I do? And my sister said, you're a loser. You're a pervert. She then ran out of the house. My brother burst into tears and Dad yelled at him, go get the girl pregnant right now. So my brother forced me into a bedroom and did what my dad told him to do. I screamed and cried, but no one came to help. No one said a word. No one moved a muscle. They all just kept staring at me. After a few weeks, I didn't feel so good. I went to the bathroom and threw up in the toilet. My brother was standing behind me and he asked, is the baby gone? He sounded so sad. I think he didn't know I was pregnant. I told him, no, the baby is still in there. Then he hugged me and said, don't worry, I'll protect you. My dad and mom were over the moon when they found out I was pregnant. They both started praying 3 times a day and said it was God's miracle. Every time I threw up, my dad would clap and say, yes, let the food come out of her stomach so the baby can grow big and strong. I couldn't take it anymore. I ran away from home. I went to the forest and walked until I couldn't walk anymore. Then I sat down on a tree trunk and waited for death to come. But instead of dying, I felt so much pain. I don't know how long I was laying there, but at some point, my brother found me and carried me back home. My mom was super nice to me for a few days, but then she went back to being mean. My dad still kept saying it was a miracle. When I was 10, my brother took me to this small church in the forest. There were a few people there, and my dad and mom were among them. He told me to hide behind him, and then he turned around and asked the preacher, can I marry this girl? And everyone started clapping and congratulating him. I was terrified, but before I could say anything, the preacher said, of course you can marry her. It's God's will. Amen. And then he asked me, do you, girl, take this man to be your husband? And I said, yes. And then he asked my brother if he took me to be his wife, and he said yes. Then they both put their hands up in the air, and everyone started clapping again. They were all so happy, and I was only 10 years old. I think my brother was 17, and then the kissing started. I hated it. I tried to push him away, but he just kept saying, it's okay, little sis. You're gonna be a good little girl and do as you're told. After a few months, I got really sick again. I threw up everywhere. My dad found me and said, good, let it all come out. And then he led me into the bedroom where my brother was sleeping. Wake up, my dad said. She's sick again. My brother opened one eye and asked, is the baby gone? And my dad said, no, let's go. My brother and I walked into the living room. Everyone was there. Again, I collapsed on the floor and everyone stared at me. My mom screamed, oh my God, the baby is coming. Then she picked me up and carried me into the bedroom. The baby boy came out of me and I almost died. Mom screamed, he's alive, he's alive. My brother asked, can I see him? And Mom said, no, you don't get to see him. My dad came in and said, let the girl rest. She needs her beauty sleep so she can look pretty for her husband. Mom nodded and left the room. And then Dad started touching me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out of my mouth. I don't remember what happened next because I blacked out. But later on, I heard my mom scream, she's dead, he killed her. I hope that whoever did this to me rots in hell.